What is up, guys? We are live with another episode of Collegiate Karting 101. Shout out to the people already here in chat. Saw Solution, Angle, and Joy already in. Happy to see you guys here already. Thanks for jumping in. How you guys doing? I forgot it's Valentine's Day, to be honest with you, but I felt like my plans really changed much. I wasn't gonna miss. If I had Valentine's Day plans, it was gonna be before tonight because you guys come first. That's how it works. I'm like, this stream comes first, obviously. So, hyped to see you guys here in chat. Hopefully, gonna have a good time today. So, we're gonna kick off with ECRC stuff because there's a lot of that, and it's probably best we just start off with ECRC. Your side solution, let's go. Happy to see you're here, and instead of the Rocket League stuff. But hey, glad you can make it this week time. Yeah, so we got ECRC. We got syllabus week finals that we're gonna go over. And we're going to take a look into the spring season for CKL. Now that the syllabus week is over, we can finally start getting a look at like seeding stuff. Maybe like brief like power rankings, I guess. No problem. I forgot too, it's just a Wednesday. Like, no lies. Like, I had plans earlier. I was going to get lunch with Nox, but like she's sick, so it just happened to like, oh, it didn't work out like that. But really, I didn't have like any Valentine's Day plans. It's not like I want to do Valentine's Day things anyway. Valentine's Day is like a low tier holiday, for being honest. Even if you are in a relationship, Valentine's Day just sucks. So, low tier holiday, we don't need to spend much time about it. But we could get into it and start talking about some of the stuff coming up. Yes, Pricey spitting with the... Yeah, there's a... Let's be honest, guys. It's a low tier holiday. Do we do a holiday tier list just to open it up? We could do that. We might do a holiday tier list later, actually. I'm gonna keep it up on... I'm gonna have the tab up just to make things easier for later on. That's also a really bad tier list, but okay. Okay, we'll start the ECRC stuff then. Okay, here we go. Let me just find all the scores, and we'll get started. And screen share. Okay, ECRC. Let's start off with the FFAs, just because that's how we are, and there's a lot to go over in terms of FFA. Yo, Spoon! In chat, yo, shout out to Bagel with the follow. Thank you for jumping on by. Also, shout out to Smiley for following as we went off the air. Last week, we hit the follower goal that I have to update, and I don't even know what the goal for following is. Maybe I'll start streaming something that isn't just talking about Mario Kart, but I don't have a capture card, so I'm not about to... Unless you guys want, like, the really bad, like, I'm gonna put my phone up to my monitor, and I'll just stream Mario Kart that way. But for the meantime, you're not gonna get any, like, MK game footage. Maybe you'll see me play, like, a random Flash game, like the Papa's, like the Papa Louie games, like Papa's Wingeria. Maybe I'll do that instead. We'll see. That's a story. We'll do that. We'll talk about that another time. Okay. All my pings are gone, so we can finally talk about ECRC. Let's start off with D1. Because we have a few people here, I think, in D1. So, Solution did not play, if I remember right, this week, so a shame. But, great chance to talk about what happened in the rest of D1. So, Technical in first with a 114, Batboo in second at a 93, Bagel with the bronze medal getting 88, Side B 78, tied with Jinja Ninja for fourth, also at 78, Spoon 72, Mexican 71, Cynical 65, Angle 63, Zay 62, Bo 44. Okay, yeah, Solution, yeah, you had RLCS qualifiers. Ah, that makes sense, that makes sense. Yeah, you had a busy Rocket League week last week, so that makes a lot of sense. Hope it went well. I'm glad you're gonna be here the rest of the season, though. You're a name I'm definitely gonna be watching out for. So, Technical winning, I don't think that's a shock to many people here. Batboo getting second, I think I saw that coming as well. Bagel and Side B really showing why they deserve to be in D1 by maintaining their great performances. Jinja also climbing his way to fourth. Great job to see. Spoon maintaining that sixth place as well. But if you look at the overall like points, from fourth to 10th, we're looking at a difference of 16 points, which is really tiny. And then you'll get even closer. 4th through 7th is separated by 7. 8th, 9th, 10 are separated by like 3 points. I know Cynical had a bad week, just because of, I think they were playing handheld or something like that. Their monitor went off. I remember getting pinged on last Friday night about like Cynical with a blue screen, which was unfortunate as hell. You hate to see these things happen. But Cynical's a great player. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. No, Spoon. Every week you're MVPing until the 5th race, and then you're throwing for contents. Well, on the bright side, you're definitely at least in playoff contention, I'm pretty sure. Still maintaining that 6th place overall. Top 6 is still playoffs. And we're about to see like Spoon with one of the best like playoff runs. Sorry. Spoon will have a great playoff run, assuming he makes it. Just gonna MVP up until like race 6 of like semis, and then is just going to in 7th. How is he even 7th? Oh yeah, probably like. We'll take a look at standings after this, but I could see it. Yeah, considering how it works, that's unfortunate. But it's hard because there's so many people I'm rooting for in Division 1. Do I want any of these players to do bad in Division 1? No, that's the problem. I like all these players are really rootable. Shout out to Zay being in chat. Yeah. So there's a lot to talk about here. Jinja having a great performance, jumping up to 4th with 78, tying side B. Bagel really cementing their spot in D1 as one of the top contenders. Spoon keeping up in the mid pack. Mexican also showing great results. Then even in bottom 3, Angle with you can tell the coaching from that I did with Angle with the FFA VOD review. I guess it helped because jumping over Zay, I will admit, during our VOD review that Angle and I did over his week 1 performance, the entire goal going into week 2 was to beat Zay. And even if it was only by 1 point, it did happen. So if you're looking at my coaching resume, I got Angle to get a win over Zay in FFA. I got Moravian is kind of on board again with some of their stuff, and I helped coach Oklahoma to 3rd in syllabus week. So not a bad resume. Maybe I'm going for Coach of the Year 2024. You never know. Never know. But yeah, Solution has a great point. Solution had a great point that Zay was like 3 away from Cynical. Like literally, it's really close. Like the majority of this lobby is super close. Even like 2nd and 3rd, Bapu and Bagel are like neck and neck. Tech just had a great run, and things get so different when Solution is in the lobby. So week 3 is going to be really exciting. I'm wondering how that's going to shape up. Yeah, I heard the Cynical got stolen from this week. Top 8 made it out the hood. The bottom 4 working 9 to 5s. Oh my god. That's a quote if I've ever seen one, honestly. Yeah, 9 to 5s. Yeah, that's basically that's how it feels, I guess, being some of the lower div players in ECRC D1. But ECRC D1 is like just being here is kind of impressive in and of itself. Like, there's a few names you could have thrown in here as well that I think could have been amazing in D1 as too. Like, I don't know, from Michigan State would have been great. Honestly, in D1, I could see. Might have to pick backers to have a chance. You know what? You never know. Might want to try it out. I know we were talking about that one course that's a secret weapon. I don't know if it's been picked yet. Yo, the Bagel random picks, I've just been hearing about these. It's like kind of worked, and it's crazy to think about it, but at least it's ruined races for some people. So, and if it ruins races for some, it's working out in Bagel's favor. And I guess something has to be clicking because Bagel is still here in 3rd place. RSL cringe. Yeah, sure it'd be happening. Bagel be right than picking RSL. It's working. I can't say anything here, but if Bagel's it's whatever Bagel's doing, it's working. The random picks are just, we can complain all we want. I can't even complain. I'm not a player, but hey, it's obviously working. So the random picks might as well keep it from Bagel. And I want to see like what other stuff we're gonna have. I was gonna say I heard some crazy stuff from these like D1 track selections. Baby Park was being picked a lot. I think it got played. Rock Mountain is a popular pick from a certain player. which I've never heard of Rock Mountain being picked in general in this game, but hey, Baby Park, Rock Mountain, I think I saw Sunset Wilds get picked a bunch in, like, the week 1. There are some tracks there that I was just like, excuse me? But, like, I'm not an RSL fan either, so I can't say anything, but we'll talk about that later, Spoon. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, if you want troll picks, arguably it's D1 picking Baby Park, Random, and Rock Mountain. So there's some stuff here, but the gameplay is solid as heck. I think in the future, if I'm able to, I'd love to do like a little primetime of like ECRC FFAs. I think that'd be so fun to do. I don't know if I'll be able to do it this Friday, but if in the future, we should totally get something set up for like an ECRC FFA, like primetime, because that'd be super fun. Hopefully people can do that then. Be down to, because I know there's a lot of people here who stream or who have the capability of streaming, so we could literally have like 6 different POVs swap between like different races, or like who, once we know who's in first and who's that. I think that'd be really fun to do. So we'll consider that, I think, in the future. Shout out to 12 viewers in chat already. Hope you're all doing good on this Valentine's Day. Obviously, we don't have plans because we were here watching a college Mario Kart stream, but happy to see you guys here. D2. Okay, D2, I just realized that, I remember seeing Zay mention this in the staff chat. D2, a lot of the points are weighted now, because they're made to match, like, as if it was a 12-player lobby, instead of, like, not. Which is going to mess up all of, like, the indivs stuff, which is rough, but hey. With the updated scoring from D2A, we got, I don't know, in first with a 156, Creo in second with a 138, JK8 in third with a 129, Max in fourth with a 125, Sandberg in fifth with a 117, Wumbo 6, 114, MC 7th, 108, Obsidia in eighth with a 97. I don't know, guys. The I don't know masterclass is just something. Like in D2A, I don't know, might just run away with this for now. Obviously, I don't know if who else is in this lobby. Like, I forget if Wisp is supposed to be in this lobby or not, or if Wisp is in the other one. But I don't know is freaking insane. Like, this guy is good. This guy's so freaking good, and like Michigan State is gonna be such an interesting team to watch. Not only in ECRC 4s, which we'll talk about, but going into CKL, like, there are some big names coming up from Michigan State. And I'm really excited to see what happens here. And, like, if I don't know, like, rise to, like, the top of D2 FFA isn't enough, like, to convince you guys, there's going to be a lot more. We're going to be seeing some great things from I Don't Know in the future. So if you don't have this guy marked down as like a player to watch, mark it down, because this is definitely one of the players you want to keep an eye out on for the rest of the spring semester. Creo, obviously doing really good as well. 138 on, remember, this is an anti-meta setup. As far as I know, Creo is still rocking the Funky Kong, and it's working. Because you don't just get second in this lobby with a 138 weighted points without skill. And Creo is insane. Like, I'm really excited for UAH. I've mentioned this a few times now, but UAH as a program has gone so far under the radar that we just don't talk about them, like, at all. And there's not a lot of data on UAH either. So to see Creo still, like, keep it up and have these great results, super excited. This is a player, for like all the 6v6 managers in chat, this is a player we're looking out for, I think, to make the jump from the college community to playing in MKU, which MKU regular season wraps up this weekend. And I know the next season of MKU is starting up relatively soon, so recruiting is going to have to kick in quite earlier than we expected. But if you need a start, Creo is going to be a name I'd be watching out for. JK8 the JK8 stocks, I think, are really high. Like, just in general, if you're a Kutztown player, their stocks are high just because of the quality of the program. I'm thinking 129 is just, it shows. it shows the results. And you can say the same thing about Max, honestly. Max are being a relatively newer name in the collegiate community, pumping out these great results as well. Excited to see what these two players do. Meanwhile, Sandberg had a big comeback week, dropping the 117 after the points being weighted. And then Wumbo keeping it consistent with the 114 after the point total got changed. Really, the bottom four, honestly, these are players where, like, I don't know if they're going to be contending for, like, a championship necessarily. I don't think they're contending to be, like, the number one player overall when I don't know is here. But it makes the jump into, like, playoffs really interesting. I think the playoff contention in D2A is, like, really close. And, like, it's going to come down to, like, who has, like, who wins these, like, head-to-heads week in, week out. So, like, each week really matters in FFA, and I'm really excited to see how this transpires going forward. G2B, this one was a stunner, honestly. And I know that Zay was a Stepien supporter, was on the Stepien hype train from the beginning. And dear Lord, did that pay off. Look at this table. Kutztown Stepien 140, Dynamo with a 117, Kobolon with a 109, Nitro 109, Glacial 107, Clob 96, Anomaly 91, Renko 85, and then you got the 4 bots. This is a insane table. And like Kutztown stocks, like I mentioned, they're always going to be super high, but like to see Stepien do this, like I remember last week we saw Dynamo, and like, yeah, Dynamo's cooking. Dynamo's freaking good. And Dynamo still is freaking good. But holy Stepien. Yeah, Zay's scouting. It's a bad man over here. Stepien is insane. And like, I don't know if Stepien even cracks top lineup of Kutztown in 6v6, which is scary to think about because Kutztown's lineup is deep as hell. So I think Stepien will get a lot more playing time, assuming they're available. And this is a name we're really watching out for. Another one where it's like, really, for the teams like on 6v6 stuff, yeah, Stepien, this is one name we're looking out for in terms of like a player that could develop into something really nice, I think, going forward. Dynamo, keeping it consistent. Dynamo is still a contender. Don't let 1 week fool you. Even a second place is really scary and really dominant because Dynamo is just so freaking good. And like, I think the Dynamo difference there, that's being Kusan, helps, but really, even in like a relatively weaker week, but like, it's really scary there. Tech, Batbu, Trey, Stepien, MC, JK8, very dangerous. Yeah, we'll talk about that later when I go over like some of the teams in 6v6 and CKL. But like, even then, the decision between like MC, JK8, Sunset, and like, who else I missed? Anomaly's good. There's a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if players like Ocean Rhapsody develop like really quickly and they've just become an absolute menace. Not to mention a few other Kutztown players. But Kutztown stock's just insane. We had a tie for third here, 109, Kobolon, and Nitro. Both players, I think, are really on the come up. Nitro especially, it is one of the contenders I think were most improved going into the CKL season, and that's a name I'm really going to be interested in watching. Similarly, I would expect Glacial to have insane results going forward in team settings, because Glacial has really turned into the McDaniel carry now that they don't have top floor boss and Shamchez. Speaking of which, top floor boss has not played either week yet, I think, so that's hopefully we see Zim / top floor boss make an appearance soon. Klopp, Anomaly, Renko rounding out the tables, but like, these players are also really solid. And once again, playoffs are going to be really interesting here. There's some players that didn't play last week, that are going to be coming up back in the future. And I'm really excited to see next Friday what shapes up, because like, it's a long season. It's like 6 weeks, I think, but with like a lot of gaps. So really, we're like a third of the way through the season. So a lot could change in the next few weeks. It's D4, D5A, D5B from week 1, At some point, we'll actually get around to organizing this. D3. This one's interesting as heck. We're looking at Alabama's Brad Joe coming in with first place with the 132. The Roll Tide. Yeah, we gotta be happy for Alabama here. Brad Joe with the masterclass. What am I up to? What am I up to, Andrew? Yeah, same thing every Wednesday. More college Mario Kart stuff. I don't have anything better to do on Valentine's Day, so here I am. Hope you're doing have a good one, Andrew. Yeah, my Brad. Yeah, Spoon. Great pun right there. Yeah, Brad Joe with the 132, Cheese from UAH with the 112, Steamy 111, Sunset 100, Ronin 94, Toad 89, Iman 83, Unknown 81, Glizzard 77. Staring at a computer screen, that's basically my life nowadays. I feel like, assuming I get this new job, I'm going to be staring at a computer screen a lot more often also, so I feel you, man, completely. Yeah, Brad Joe Masterclass. I think the general consensus from a lot of the people who were familiar with Alabama was that when the Alabama players are getting in, they're going to be really good. And they're going to do amazing stuff in FFA. And Brad Joe especially. I knew Brad Joe was Brad Joe's on my list of the biggest prospects coming into the CKL season. Going into the future here. Because this is a name we're not too familiar with all of Alabama's players. We know Solution, we know Jay, but Brad Joe especially is a name I'm really interested in seeing really develop into one of those better options going forward to match with the Solution Jay trombone combination. And I'm really excited to see that Brad Joe jumping with this 132, the masterclass, as I've been saying quite often. Cheese with the 112 and Steamy with the 111. Really close between these two. And I think both these players are going to be really good to watch going forward for their respective teams. Sunset maintaining her consistency with a 100. Also a real strong contender in D3. And I think there's a lot of different players in D3 which we are excited to see potentially going forward. Meanwhile, Ronin, Toad, Iman, Unknown, Glizzard. This is all deceptively close, if we're being honest. And I think just a few races go their way, you see either of these players jumping up. And I think going forward, and when it comes playoff contention, I'm really excited to see what either of these players come out. Toad especially. I think Toad had a relatively rough week compared to what we saw in week 1. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Toad on top of the lobby going forward. But yeah, I'm thinking this D3 is not going to get a lot of coverage, I think. But it really should, because there's some prospects. Brad Joe, Steamy, Sunset, Cheese, Toad. These are going to be players you're going to want to watch. So going forward, this is something we pay attention to. Keep your eyes on this division. Shout out to that MKU in the top left corner. D4. Where is D4? Where is D4? Is D4. D4 played 1 hour later. I think maybe 2 hours later than their scheduled time because of Hyper had an exam, and then they all agreed to reschedule. And I'm that's so nice. Really, literally, that's such great people to go for that. But now with the table, we're looking at NC State coming up, and NC State's looking really good. Green with the 139 over C2D2 from Michigan with the 129. Hyper Evil Man from Virginia Tech with the 116. Talk about that next thing. Is there a prime time for this sort of thing? MKU? Kinda. We do have it for the 6v6 league. There's some prime times happening. We need more streamers though, and because we have casters, but we need more people who are able to run the stream. And then figuring out times that actually work to have prime time. But yeah, and then for this, the ECRC, which is the 4v4v4 and the FFA, but there's no prime time yet necessarily, but I'm hoping to start that in soon. Dang, Andrew, it's rough. Oh my god, they're in chat. Okay, and now we have to talk about the man of the myth legend, Bobby J. 11k allegedly getting an extra 1000 VR in fourth with the 115. Now I was told that there is a bet going for next week in terms of what Heidelberg is up to. So, yeah, Bobby J needs to get 4th or higher, and one of their players needs to come in first. If that goal is not met, if one goal is not met, he wears a skirt or dress to the next practice. If both are not met, he has to wear it to the dining hall. But if they win, he gets a large drink of any choice at the coffee shop. So, yeah, great stuff, honestly, happening over at Heidelberg. And yeah, shout outs to Bobby J being in chat. Yeah, the Berg tag, one of the better ones, I think, honestly. Crimson from Michigan with the 91. G-Forcer 85. Knight 81. Lexi 68. Senpai NH 48. I was going to say, it is not. There's the amount you're about to potentially lose compared to the amount you're winning is very lopsided. Like, you should be getting a lot more than just the drink, I feel, if you win the bet. Especially because it's like a coffee, I'm pretty sure. So I would hope you get a better deal there. But hey, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't help you out as much. But if you have the faith in your team, love to see it, man. Love to see it. Yeah, the Heidelberg hype train, I'm really excited for. But yeah, from week 2 in D4, I think the big thing here is a lot of these players are going to be competitive. Because we're looking how Knight, I think, got like 2nd, and Jen fell to 7th. G-Forcer climbed their way up in the 6th. Green, with the 139, I thought C2D2 was potentially going to run away with this division along with Bobby J and Piper. But no, NC State coming up, showing up with this amazing result. C2D2 is still really strong. Like, this division, this is going to be such a mess to make predictions for. Who do you have here? I know we had the Bobby J difference. It's just because 11K now. Bobby J 11K. It doesn't roll off the tongue as much as 10K, sadly. But the Bobby J factor is still there. And I'm excited to talk more about that. Because you know what? That Bobby J factor is huge. Because if you go over to D5B, you get Super Fresh Boy. Wait, is it Super Fresh Boy 69? I think? Yeah, I think it's their tag. With the 128 tied with Heidelberg's very own J Hammy. Yeah, the Heidelberg difference right there. It's not just Bobby J. It's just all of Heidelberg with the immense amount of hype behind them. Look at this co-MVPing here with the 128. Legitimately, yeah, in D2. I'm still thinking it's C2, D2, or Bobby J as well. Maybe NC State. I will actually be really hyped to see a NC State win as well, but I do think the Heidelberg difference will make an impact like it is doing right here. So, I think is Skringo McCringleberry, I forget, from PWE? I think it's a PWE instead of PWG. Could be wrong with the 116. Whoa, what a tie for 4th. Holy heck. Prism, Lost, Halloran, 110, 110, 110. Yeah, Heidelberg difference once again. And then Howard and NC State. Also, oh my gosh, D5B. This is competitive. And then we're not even talking about Abby or Sissy or Whipple, who are all really close too. Like, this div is going to be hella competitive. Making it the playoffs is going to be so fun to watch. Really excited to see what happens in this division going forward here. But yeah, Heidelberg difference versus J Hammy. J Hammy's, I've heard some good stuff about J Hammy. Like if we're going to equivalent, it's not even a word, equivalent. If we're going to make the equivalent to baseball, maybe D5B is D5 and ECRC is like the rookie ball, the really low A ball in terms of like the minor league system. But like J Hammy is going to be one of the names you really look out for like as a future prospect going forward. And he only has 3 or 4 KVR. Yeah, this is a prospect. This is someone you're going to watch out for in the future. You don't know what they're going to be once they hit that 10 KVR mark. We never know. Same for Halloran. Really, a lot of these players, I wouldn't be surprised to see, I would be excited to see like a Howard player do well. Like the HBCUs, I'd love to see do really well in college Mario Kart, to be honest. So like, I'd love to see Lost do well, or like NC State, Prism, 110. Maybe this goes higher too. Halloran, maybe as well. Only 75 hours too, yeah, dang. A lot of these players are good with like minimal hours. Like, it's insane to me. Here I am with like 1,500 hours on this game, and I am terrible. So like the shouts to everyone here with like new to the game, getting better and putting in the time, because like obviously I'm not doing that. Sissy with a 94, Whipple. You know what? A lot of these players are like on the come up, and I'm really excited to see. I sound like a broken record, but a lot of these players are going to be really exciting to watch going forward here. And then let's round it out with D5A, wherever it is. Oh, let's go. Shout out to Zay. Yeah, Morgan State. The Morgan State Howard partnership, I'm really happy about, honestly. Where is D5A? There we go. J139. It's a me 104. Purple Nurple 103. Oh my gosh. JDP Craft and Lunala 100 ties with Ocean Rhapsody 100 as well at 4th. Kit Kat 92. Aqua 82. Reb 81. Saiku 65. And then Bot 53. Jojo 40. Another Bot 25. There's some names here that are like, whoa. Jay with the 139. That's an insane result, honestly. It's me still showing that they're a contender with the 104, Purple with the 103, and then JDP Craft Lunala and Ocean Rhapsody tying at 100. 5 people here hit 100. And then, like, Kit Kat in 6 solidly. There's some good players over here in D5A. And I'm going to have to check standings, because I think we posted standings. Yeah, we did post standings. So I'm going to quick check that because there's some interesting stuff happening here. And I'm really excited to see what happens. Okay. Twitter. I should have had this up last time. Oh well. While that happens, I'm going to move over back here. I put my thing in streaming. If I didn't put my thing in streaming, I totally should. Or if someone wants to do it for me, that'd be hype. Oh yeah, thank you, Solution. Plugging me, even though, because I'm going to forget to also. So thank you, Solution. Shout out to the Spice Gang overall. Great community. Thank you, guys. Spice, yo, shout out to Rumble mentioned for hopping into chat now. Okay, so NC State sweep. I forgot what school Jay was from, but coming up now, I think they missed week 1, which explains this, but with that amazing win, they're going to be insane going forward here. Then yeah, NC State has It's a Me and Jay. So NC State wins both of D5A weeks so far. And then you have players like JDP Craft, like from Heidelberg, doing good. Ocean Rhapsody's doing great too, from Kutztown. Kit Kat from Howard's doing well. This is exciting, honestly. And we're going to go look at the rest of the standings. D5B, yo, the Heidelberg difference, J Hammy's winning. J Hammy's winning at the moment. Then you got Ohio's very own Super Fresh Boy, 69, I think, from Ohio. Skringle McCringleberry and Edinburgh, making it probably in the playoffs, too. D4? C2D2, really strong results still. Hyper Evil Man, Bobby J, 11K. Ross of Michigan. Oh, yeah, I heard that Ethan had to drop. Sad to hear it, but it happens. We can understand. And then I have Greensicle, who's going to be on the come up, too. D4 is going to look real fun. D3, Cheese from UAH. Yo, D3 is fun because everyone here technically has a loss. Dear Lord, Sunset is only off by 4 points from first place. That is insane. Toadmaster is so close as well. Steamy is looking good. Ronan's still there too. And then you have Bradjo, who's just gonna come up and just soar once Bradjo starts playing multiple weeks. Because, oh man, Bradjo's gonna look really good forward. If it's in red, if that's everyone who is DC or disqualified, I'm sad because D2B is gonna be rough here. There's still some great stuff. Steepy and Klein soared up the ranks, honestly. Nitro looking good. Glacial's looking really good now. Dynamo's still on top. J missed a week, and as well as Baja, sadly, but they're gonna look really good going forward. And like, really, D2B. Who do you even have as your 6 people that make it? You have Dynamo, Steepy, and Nitro, probably. Penalty applied. Okay, next miss is a DQ. I was going to say, because I remember Wisp and Zim both missed 2 weeks. Trombone missed 2 weeks. I'm going to be interested to see, hopefully we see Wisp and Zim back in. That'd be insane, because these two are such good players, too. Yeah, in D2B, who's making it? If it's top 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anomaly, and then, like, legitimately, I could see, like, Jay making the playoffs over either. I see Baja making playoffs, honestly, as well. D2B is going to be really intense. D2A, I don't know. I don't know, maybe running away at this point, but still a long season. Frio's looking good. Max is looking good. Goji missed a week, sadly. Just say, college and let me join your country. If the signups weren't basically over, I would totally let you. Honestly, you could just take an online class at like any college and you'd be completely fine, Andrew. Certain schools are recruiting it, I will say that. So, honestly, if you just want to take like a cheap online class, like 1 credit, I don't think we have a rule on like how committed you have to be in college. So if you take like a really part-time status, a half credit, or like a half a semester class, never know. I don't know what the rules are exactly, because I don't think we got to that point in eligibility, but you never know, Andrew. Asman missed a week. Yeah, I forgot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh dang, Wumbo's so close once again. JK8's gotta be jumping up. Samber's gonna be jumping up too. Let's go, Andrew. And then D1, Tech, Bat Boo, no surprise. Bagel from, Appalachian State, honestly. Love to see them represented here. UCF, same thing. Cynical still 5th. Jinja in 6th then. Ooh, yeah, I was going to say, the military bonus will help you there. Yeah, Jinja in 6th now, just barely over Spoon. Yeah, no wonder it was that. Then Mexican, Zay, Angle Bow, and Solution with the missed week makes sense. Standings are going to shake up a ton each week, so don't be stunned to see some crazy stuff going forward. Okay, let's wrap up ECRC with 4s. Let's start off with one of the biggest stories of ECRC this last week. Cancun on 3. That's one of my favorite lines ever to say. Michigan State 357, Maryland 316, Alabama 311. I am laughing because I just see the better Lord Chinese buddy because it's such a good line, Rumble. Look at the results. This is crazy. And I think the big story here, we'll get to them when we talk about Maryland. Certain player here has made a ton of waves the moment I heard that they played. But if we look at Michigan State's depth is so good in 4s. Because there's no weak link in Michigan State, really. Like, I don't know is great, Silver is great, Nova is great, Jalapeno is great. That line hurts, I won't lie. That line really hurts. I can't get out of second rounds. This thing behind me. I gotta take that down at some point. I gotta maybe find a new team, but the Philly and me, I can't do that to myself. Yeah, Michigan State is underrated as heck. Michigan State's really good. I don't know, 103, Silver 91, Nova 88, Jalapeno 75. Who do you target here? Like, there's no weak link. Even if their carry isn't gonna do that much, like, I don't know isn't exactly the level of the Michigan players. But I don't know is still scary, like, as heck. I think I don't know is one of the top... No worse than top 10 in Division 1 ECRC 4s, right? Let me think about this real quick. There's a 3 from Michigan. Spoon. Fate now, I guess. Solution. Angle. Myself. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably top 10. Yeah, and then like if you have Silver Nova helping you backing up, like this is just an overall strong performance. This is like one of the most perfect results you could see from like a Forest group. Like you don't need to have the highest points in terms of leading and MVPing, but everyone is just offering their support. And so wait for Spoon, see he stood me up for Spicy. Oh my god, Chubby J. Okay, the real story of this, even though Michigan State won, I remember getting pinged about Fate playing. If you don't know who Fate is, Fate played for Royal Flush, formerly higher, and then higher octave before that. Fate is an amazing player. Plays from University of Maryland, obviously. But Fate hasn't played in a long time. It's been like at least a year, I think, by now. Or at least it's been around a year-ish, because they left. They stopped when Royal Flush stopped, and Royal Flush stopped right before Divine Phoenix revived, which I want to say sometime 2023. Yeah, I think I want to say it's like spring 2023-ish. Yeah, and the thing is, like, realistically, let's be honest, Fate is arguably the second best player in this division. And they're on the bench because they're not as active. Because they don't play as well. They don't play as much as they used to. But look at this. 135 from Fate. Then you have Luffy with the 80. A great result from Luffy, by the way. Paige with the 52. Asa 41. Fate still carries. Like, if we're being honest here, Fate is better than everyone in this room by quite a lot. Like, that's not a shot against Solution. That's not a shot against Idol, no. Fate is just that good. And Fate has way more experience in a team setting than basically everyone here combined. Especially at a high level. Like, realistically, like, Fate won MKU. Fate was a starter on a D3 winning MKU team. Fate played on a top 10 team in the world at one point. So, like, you bring that to Maryland, and Maryland is scary. This is a Maryland without Shamchez, by the way. So if you have Fate, Luffy, Shamchez, and you wonder why we considered Maryland D1, it's because if you bring out Fate, it's like, yeah, Maryland is easily D1. Sure, without Fate, it's a bit rough at times because everyone there is new, but if Fate wants to play the rest of the season, it's over. Like, Maryland is probably making playoffs at that point. They'll beat out either Alabama or maybe Moravian. It'll depend on, like, a lot of other factors, which we'll go into, but Fate's great. I'm really happy. I'm, like, really happy to see Fate playing, but at the same time, I'm horrified. So, but if Maryland has any shots, wants to have a shot, I think they have to have Fate play. But it's really up to Fate, because obviously school comes first. I know Fate isn't as active anymore, but if Fate plays, watch out for everyone else. And then Alabama coming in a close third. Solution with the 104, Jay with the 78, Brad 65, Trombone 64. You know, under most circumstances, this should get them second, but it just so happened that Fate was here. It's really unfortunate. I feel really bad for Alabama because, like, there's not much they can do when Maryland has Fate. There's really not much they can do. So, happy to see this result overall. And Jay and Solution for the second place. Solution's such a great player. Really excited to see what Alabama's cooking in the future here. Roll Tide. Honestly, I could have maybe... In another world, I'm coaching Alabama instead of Oklahoma. But either way, I don't think Alabama needs me anyway. So would love to see some more of this coming up from them, though. And I think Jay, Brad, Joe, and Trombone are only going to get better. So I'm excited to see what Alabama's cooking. Now, if you thought Michigan State was scary, Spoon's still in chat. What the hell do we do? What are we supposed to do? Hope that would take you if we were active. That's all anyways. That's my solution. Michigan 433. Peach State 292. Moravian 259. You know how hard you have to be? How hard of an opponent you have to be? How good you have to play to make Peach State look weak? This was rough. I want to know what Spoon, what was going through your head when you played this? Because I VOD reviewed Moravian in this match, and I've never seen a team felt so hopeless so early on, because, like, what do you do? Whooper 150? Mexican 122? Short 102? And then C2D2 with the 59. They have 3 people over 100. This is without Crow. This is without their best player who's not even active for 4s in ECRC. This is not Michigan top strength. And then, yeah, we'll talk about Michigan. Because holy heck, this is so scary. Then Peach State, Spoon with the 84, Luxatone 84, Dynamo 63, Ray 61. Yeah, Spoon can get run and get second, but the team gets like bot 3. It's rough, because I remember a similar thing was happening with Moravian. So I'm not surprised to hear that from Spoon. Because, like, breaking into these tops, this is painful. What do you do? Like, ugh. I think, yeah, they play... Michigan plays Alabama and Maryland, so Solution, good luck. Good luck. If they all play, good luck. Because, like, yeah, dear lord. I don't know what it was like for Peach State, morale-wise, because I can tell you Moravian morale was just not there. Dear lord, can you imagine Fate going up against Michigan? That's such a scary matchup. I'm so sorry if that happens for you, Solution. So then, going over to Moravian... It's crazy, yeah. Michigan isn't looking too great overall because of the week 1 forfeit. Well, that one's getting replayed, or like it's getting played, I think, in the future. So they're gonna replay week 1. So it'll be Bama, Michigan, Michigan State. So eventually there will be a result in that place, and Michigan might go undefeated. Who knows? Obviously, that's an early call, but if they're playing like this, what do you do? Like, God. And Moravian, Angle 99, Wumbo 62, Knox 52, Baja 46. Yeah, I remember the change happening. Happy to hear it though, because like we hate to see forfeits early at all. Period. Yeah, the Bama, Michigan State, Michigan. That's gonna be an interesting match. And it's a doubleheader too, so we've got to see back to back. Good luck to both you teams, both Bama and Michigan State. Also, good luck to Michigan, but like. Michigan State and Alabama. Maybe there's a secret 8v4 happening we don't know about. Sure gonna have to wait until he gets top 4 every week. Yeah? Yeah? Okay, so Moravian 99, Angle 99, Wumbo 62, Knox 52, Baja 46. I will tell you that... Moravian is in a weird spot in 4s when I'm not there, and it's a shame because I got held back from work pretty late, so I couldn't make it. And even then, Moravian likes to play in person, and because of that, I work an hour away from Moravian, so there was no shot I was making it on time. And even so, Moravian, by the alumni rule, I'm only allowed to sub for Moravian. I'm not allowed to like play every match, so this is technically the starting lineup for Moravian. I don't know what's going to happen. I still think it's a solid lineup overall because like, all these players are solid. It's just like I can tell you that call-wise, the call in Moravian was really rough compared to how it normally is. I know, yeah, Knox felt pressured as heck. Wumbo was tilted. Baja was unfocused, and Angle felt like he had to do everything in a way, which was not ideal. So morale for Moravian was low. I don't know if it was similar for Peach State, but like. Hoping to see something better from them going forward. Did a VOD review last night with Moravian. Hoping that does something. Hoping we'll see some results coming up for them. And just seeing some good improvement. Let's go into D2 4s. Okay, where's the other one? Is there only one? Oh no, they're right back to back. Duh. Tennessee! First place 401. Siena College, second 326. And then McDaniel, Road Rage, third but 257. Oh my god. Evolved. Oh yeah, instead of you go quiet, your team comes flooded. Nonsense. I understand, yeah. Yeah, I can tell you from Moravian, and there was just nonsense being said at times. I'm not gonna out exactly what happened in the Moravian call, but a player we were calling shock on Weibo, and then it's get ready activate, obviously. So one player says get ready, and then instead of waiting for activate, the player panicked surprisingly, because they normally don't do this, but they panicked and hit shock on get ready, and I'm like, oh, that happened. I'm not gonna say who would happen with, but it happened. So, and I don't blame you when you have a match like that. It's hard. It's hard. Evolved 164, Will 108, Ghost 87, Cisco. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't want to out them my name, but yeah, that's my child. I can't help them. So, Cisco 42, like. Tennessee stock is soaring. Like, we saw Tennessee when they first joined, and they're like, oh, this reminds us of, like, CSUF. And then, boom. Good, solid, not a close loss. And closer loss. And then Evolve joins. And then you see this. They are destroying Division 2. Give me my Tennessee-Virginia Tech matchup soon. Because this is going to be insane. Evolved against Cynical is just going to be one of the best matches we will ever see. They both play on the same team, too, I'm pretty sure. So, we'll be so excited for that to happen. Then Sienna, Jinja Ninja 131, Jack Black 66, Beach 66, Snow 63. So, we were always curious about Sienna, about how good they would be in a team setting. Because we knew Jinja's good. Jinja plays for Buzz, D9. But we didn't know anything about the rest of the team. And I was thinking maybe it'd be similar to Tennessee, I guess. It's close, but Tennessee is still better by, like, quite a bit, it seems. Tennessee has more experience, which helps. But it's a good debut, I think, for Sienna overall. And I'm excited to see what the rest of the team, like, outside of Jinja, does. How this develops going forward, seeing what you could have happen here. And then in third, McDaniel, Sandbird 77, Glacial 76, Andy 56, G-Force 48. Looking back on ECRC seedings, I think the roughest thing we did was the fact that, like, if you look at D2, yeah, Joy is correct. Tennessee making a strong statement. In D2 of ECRC, we have Tennessee, Virginia Tech, Sienna, Morgan in some order, and then there's kind of a gap between McDaniel, Penn West, Edinboro, and NC State, if we're being honest. It's just the 4 teams with more experience, and then 3 teams with a lot less. Tennessee's could have been D1, honestly. Who knows? Like, I don't know how Solution feels, but honestly, we could have put Tennessee instead of Alabama. We could put Tennessee instead of Moravian, just based on how Tennessee's playing. Because Evolved especially is just playing so freaking well. That stock is going up like crazy. And the McDaniel is in such a rough position just being in here. Because, like, dang. It's hard to go up against these two teams. Because McDaniel's just so outclassed, if we're being honest, in comparison. Glacial's getting better, but Glacial doesn't compare to a Jinja. Doesn't compare to an Evolved. I feel you, Solution. Like, you know what? Like, in a way, Spoon was right about putting Tennessee in D2 because, like, this is good for Will, Ghost, and Cisco. We could have put Virginia Tech D1. Okay, what if we just, as a group, we agreed to a few different things. We will put Virginia Tech and Tennessee, replace them with Moravian and Alabama, and we'll let Peach State also drop the D2 and put in, I don't know, Sienna. Just that way all the friends are in D2 with each other. And then Michigan just lets everyone run. Who could have done that? How many teams do we have total? We had, what, 13? Yeah, I would agree. VT with Ice is D1. VT without Ice is Still close, D2-ish. Yo, shout out 14 viewers in chat, by the way. We're gonna be going to CKL right after this. And then, yeah. If we reseeded, it'd be interesting. If we knew that if Fate keeps playing, it's really, also, we don't know anything. Yeah, it's just the thing about Division 2 and ECRC, Division 2 is defined by teams having one carry. Tennessee has evolved and everyone else is pretty new. Sienna has Jinja and everyone else is pretty new. Morgan has Zay and everyone else is like less experienced. Virginia Tech has Cynical and everyone else is relatively new. It's just a battle of carries, and the carries just do so good. And it looks lopsided when you put them against the teams of like McDaniel, Penn West, NC State. We'll go into that. Because the reality is, NC State, Penn West, and McDaniel are just farther behind than the other 4 teams in D2. And it's nothing against them, it's just that those teams are much newer and much less experienced. You're looking at Morgan State with the 470, shout out to Zay with the 156, NC State 266, and Penn West Edinburgh 248. Yeah, Zay 156, Nitro 125, Obsidian 98. Yo, top 4 all went to Morgan. I don't know if that's ever happened before. Yeah, I think this might be the first time in 4s where a team is going to sweep podium and 4th. So, Zay just wants a free div. Honest. Maybe, who knows. Yeah, great result overall for Morgan. We knew Zay was going to do something like this. Zay's MVP case in D2 is looking good. Actually, the MVP race in D2, what do you do? Remember, it's a league, D2 is just carries, and D1 is depth. So, like, you got Evolved, Cynical, Jinja, Zay fighting for MVP in Division 2. That is horrifying. And like, it makes things easy. Who's the first team in D2? It's literally just the 4 carries. 1 from each of the top 4 teams. We love to see it. Makes things easy for us. UTK, Morgan, Virginia Tech to see where the teams are at. Is that happening at all? Because the one thing I know about Division 2 4s, not every team is going to play each other in like every matchup, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we're actually getting this one. Dang. Yeah, because UTK plays... UTK and Morgan have a bye this week? That's rough. UTK then plays Sienna Morgan. So we'll see UTK and Morgan. Do UTK and Virginia Tech ever play against each other? They don't, I think? Oh, this might be interesting. Yeah, in playoffs, I guess, is when we're seeing it. Moravian with Spicy beats Morgan. They've done it twice. Moravian and... Yeah, honestly, I feel like Moravian only made it to D... Okay, I think a lot of the argument for Moravian in D1 was because they saw I was playing there. So, but I'm a sub, so... I think Moravian still had an argument to be D1, just further depth. It's just like, once they understand how to do play calling and coordinate call, then they'll be a lot better without me. Bama, yeah, Bama also, yeah. Yeah, Bama did beat Morgan a few times in 4s. Bama beat Morgan in 6v6 with even lineup. Yeah. Yeah, their argument was there. So, I think, honestly, seeding, I think, was fine. It looks lopsided just because of results like this. So, looking at NC State, Prism 89, Greensicle 77, J 58, It's a Me 42. Remember, these are all prospects in FFA. The team setting is completely new for them. If anyone wants to, like, jump on a coaching job, NC State, I think, would be a really good one to jump onto. Like, I think this would actually be, like, if you want to make a difference, really, and it's, like, I will tell you firsthand that coaching Oklahoma has been really fun. If you want to work with a team that's, like, really new, yeah, go coach NC State. NC State's gonna be really, yeah. Honestly, Spoon, I was literally thinking of you for this. You would actually have a fun time if NC State has like a VOD or anything, or like anything streaming wise. Get recording and just do VOD reviews with them because that would be so fun. They would love it, honestly. Like NC State seems like a program that would be really good in the future. They just need the guidance, I think, especially in the team setting. I know Spoon especially is a really good player that like specializes in the team coordination stuff and just from like managing a team and being more of a team player. I think you could do really. I think NC State would like love to have you if you were interested. Penwest Edinburgh. This is another team I think would be similar. I might reach out to PWE as like the third team to coach. So like PWE is a lot of good people. Yes, sure. Spoon does manage 4 teams. PWE, like this is a team I think that's also going to be really good in the future. They just need guidance. Asmon 81, Scrungus 75, Reb 47, Aqua 45. The hardest thing here is like both these teams, they just don't have any experience in the team setting. And they're going up against teams like Morgan, like Virginia Tech, like Tennessee and Siena, where there's already that one player who has all the experience and can offer so much and can lead a call. And I will admit, like, in D2 especially, one of the big differences that, aside from like the MVP scoring, I think the one thing that will determine like who wins this division, who is leading this, it just comes down to who is leading the call the best. Like, you go in D1, Moravian's stock rises when I'm there, not because I'm scoring the most points. Angle will more often than not score higher than me nowadays, but it's just because I'm able to lead like the comms and stuff like that. Peach State's so great because you have Spoon leading their call and like a lot of good team players. Oh, and then you have Michigan, like one of Michigan's best strengths is like you have players like Hooper who are like so experienced. They can just like help out with like coordinating all that, and with like Mexican short. Down here in D2, that's where you're going to see like the MVP is going to come down to who leads their team the best, as well as the numbers. So I'm really excited to see that. I think that's going to wrap up the ECRC stuff for today, though. Syllabus week in the Collegiate Karting League, the big one. Finals ended. Guys, it's World Food Day. Did not know that. See you next week, Jinja. Oh, that's gonna be fun. You'll have fun. Jinja's great. Grand Final Syllabus Week. You guys saw it on the bottom of the screen at some point, but University of California, San Diego are your champions of CKL Syllabus Week, beating Michigan in Grand Finals, 499 to 485. Jinja's a really cool person. Yeah, I met him at Riptide. He's really fun to talk to. Yeah, congratulations to UCSD 107 from Waluigi, Super FX 98, Extra 86, Flight 84, Top Pack Bear 83, Nub 41. Meanwhile, from Michigan, 123 from Crow, 114 from Hooper, Short 108, maybe with a 56, C2D2 with a 54, and Crimson with a 30. I was gonna say UCSD almost just pulled the Oklahoma. And I think, yeah, that's a good comparison. UCSD is very similar to Zay. The person who offered you a trial egg was me, by the way. I was the one who DM'd you about that. But shout out to Ginger, though. Ginger's great, honestly. So you're looking at, like... Always with this is honestly looking at UCSD, and like UCSD stock is looking great. No, you're fine, Zay. Don't worry about it. I don't mind. I think it's funny. UCSD has gone so under the radar. When we looked at the top teams in Syllabus Week, we saw Michigan. We thought, okay, Peach State's on the come up. Peach State is just really consistent. They might do really well. They almost broke into finals. They could have won finals, maybe, in the last season. We looked at UCLA, we saw Cairo, we saw Joy, and like, oh, that's a good team. But like UCSD quietly just hovered under the radar, didn't lose a match. And I think Spoon hit the nail on the head. It's the new players at UCSD who just came up out of nowhere and just shined. Astro was a big ad. Flight coming up. And Top Hat Bear just doing insane stuff. Top Hat Bear is like I think Top Hat Bear is probably my pick for Rookie of the Season. Rookie of the Semester for CKL and D1. Top Hat Bear is getting so good so fast. And Wallabies had the performance of their life, like outscoring Super FX on their own team. And this was needed. You needed to see Wallabies put up a result like this, because look at the result. It's only a plus 14. And the last thing you wanted to do was give Michigan any momentum. Because if Michigan got momentum, I don't know if UCSD wins in set 2. It's just insane. It's great stuff. Wallabies Masterclass, correct solution. But really, overall from UCSD, this is a team I'm really interested in going forward. Because, even now, I feel like they're, underrated, which is weird to think about, but when 6v6 comes up, UCSD is going to be a team that probably makes playoffs. They're fighting for that last 2 playoff spots probably, or maybe even fighting for a high seed. You never know. Depends on how we're shaping up the divisions, obviously, but super excited to see if UCSD makes it or not into Louisville. But I'm going to be excited to see what UCSD does in the spring season. Meanwhile, from Michigan, this is what you expected. You still expect to see Crow, Hooper, Short putting up these numbers, the 123, 114, 108. And then the other 3, they're still developing. Maybe 56, C2D to 54, Crimson 30. And I think one thing we were talking about, whether it was in this stream or in previous weeks, the ECRC benefit for these players is going to be very important. Watching C2D2 potentially rise up, watching Toadmaster come up, take over in the spots, you're going to want to see a lot of great stuff here. Yeah, Flight and Top, both scoring above 80 was huge. Really, UCSD didn't really have... They needed to have these, 80-point performances, because it was going to be rough without them. And yeah, good back presence is so important. You see players scoring 41, you don't know the full story of what's happening there. What are they watching? Are they watching the back items? And I know that's something I told Oklahoma when they played before they played Michigan. You want the players in the back going to be really important to watch, because you know that these 3 players up here are going to know what to do if they have shock. So you want to know how to coordinate that, how to counter if possible. So yeah, great points overall. And when you see, once these players develop, once Mexican gets added, Michigan's just going to be scary. I think this only makes Michigan hungrier going into CKL. And I think going into CKL, we're going to be seeing some fun stuff. But overall, congratulations again to UCSD winning syllabus week. And then Michigan, second syllabus week as well. Really congrats to them. UCSD with Zach versus UM with Mexico would be awesome. Honestly, yeah, that's a matchup I'm really excited to see in the future. Of course, yeah, congrats to you guys. Yeah, UCSD, well-deserved win. I'm excited to see what you guys do. Okay, this isn't going to be my actual seedings for CKL spring season, but because not every team is added yet. We only have 9 teams so far. But we're going to have, I want to go through, a rough estimate of where I have teams. Maybe of, what are, power ranking-wise, where are we at with everyone? In no order. Okay, Michigan at full strength, I still think is number 1. Yes, they don't have... Yes, they lost syllabus week. Yes, UCSD won. But we're seeing what Mexican's doing in ECRC. And you saw them beat Kutztown in that scrim a couple weeks ago. Michigan D1, top of D1, I don't think is the question. Who you put in number 2 is the question then. Because I think realistically, there's 2 to 3 teams you can really put here in some order. They won syllabus week. I'm going to give it to them. Give me University of California, San Diego. Number 2 at the moment, I think, in the country. Winning syllabus week is huge, and they're only going to get better. And I think it's time we finally stop underrating UCSD. This team is going to be very scary. So I think playing them like at the rough number 2 point is going to be accurate. I'm gonna go number 3, Kutztown. We don't have as many 6v6 results from them as we do from the other teams at the moment, but what is the depth on Kutztown? Like, you look at the Kutztown's lineup, I don't think this is their entire team, because I don't see Unstray, but you got Batboo, you got Bo, you got Tech, Stepian's on the huge rise, JK8's looking good, MC's there, I think Sunsets is hella underrated, Rhapsody's gonna be potentially really good, and then you're like C, Silverish. Probably not, actually. I legitimately don't know. So, I actually probably don't say. So, I've been out of the game for a while. You would think I would know all these things that I should, but I really don't. So, if you need to inform me of something, go ahead. But yeah, Kutztown overall, definitely at least, and the worst, and like, I did hear about that. Forgot. Oh, it's rough. I was gonna say, Kutztown runs a really strict program. But there's a lot of, like, rules for Kutztown that doesn't affect other teams. So, like, the GPA stuff, like, that they treat it like an actual collegiate sport, which I am, like, kind of all for. But then you have things like that where they're actually following the... they gotta worry about, the GPA requirements. And I remember, I forget, I think it was kept to their own server, but, Oklahoma there was like a GPA requirement in like the esports thing at Oklahoma, and like none of the MK players were affected, but I remember hearing it affected the teams, like every other team. Oklahoma's a bunch of good students, and like, trust me guys, school comes first. You gotta maintain. If we had a mandatory like GPA requirement for CKL or ECRC, I think it'd be kind of helpful, because realistically, you should be putting more time in your academics than you should be putting your time into college Mario Kart. But that's just me. I was going into a career in education, so that's kind of biased, but am I wrong? Not really. Very sad, though, to hear that. So yeah, we have these 3. I think these are some of the big teams, definitely. I'm gonna go Peach State, 4th. PSP is too deep. And, like, I think in the 6v6, when they're on their top of their game, after some prep, Peach State can beat most teams. Like, realistically, Peach State, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat UCSD. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Kutztown. They don't have Bean anymore, but Peach State is getting really good, and Spoon is on the huge like grind just to be like insane. I'm really excited to see PSP in the future. In the 5 slots, this is one of the best like stories I think right now. But I think you could argue with them at 5 or 6. But I'm gonna be a little biased here. I'm gonna go Oklahoma, which also puts UCLA at 6. I think these 2 are like really close. Oklahoma and UCLA. Oklahoma did beat UCLA in syllabus week, but UCLA beat Oklahoma pretty handily in a scrim recently. That also, Oklahoma did play over Discord, and if you don't know, Oklahoma is a team that plays in person. So the Discord columns, there are some stuff you do have to note there. But that are different compared to playing in person, like delay is such a big thing. So it's a difference thing there. But like realistically, you can put Oklahoma or UCLA interchangeable here. Let's just say it's alphabetical order at this point. But I think these 6 teams are for sure D1 locks. After this is where things get interesting because you get teams that we don't know too much about. I hope I don't butcher this name. I think it's Baruch College. I'm going to double check my info before I say something stupid about Baruch. Yeah, I forget which top players on Baruch, but Baruch I know is like potentially really good, and as a team, I'm really interested in like watching going forward because we don't know too much about that, but they're potentially D1 depending on their roster. And then I think to round out D1 for now, I'm gonna go Michigan State. Michigan State's been hella underrated. I don't know is really good. Silver's good. Nova is also great. Jalapenos there. Michigan State, even losing short from the House Divided split, the House Divided being divided, there is some great things happening. And I think Michigan State being D1, I think they cook most teams in D2, for being honest. So I think this is accurate for now. This obviously needs to get updated once we know more rosters and like who gets finalized. And I'm going to be doing a much more in-depth like seeding stream one after the deadline. But for now, I think that's roughly there. And then there's a few fringe teams. I think Baruch is probably right here. Depending, I have to check because like if you look at they don't have a roster on here yet. In fact, there's not a lot of teams on here either. So there's a lot of teams that are question marks, which is scary, but who's eligible? We have 4 teams eligible. D1. We'll get to you. The rest of them, we'll also get to you. D2 is interesting because there's a lot of question marks in Division 2. I'm a Roll Tide. I think Alabama is roughly the top of D2. The big question for Alabama is just gathering, and that's been the story of their entire time here. But yeah, Roll Tide. I think Alabama is insane, and Alabama's insanely good. You can't count out Alabama. It's just because you saw how many matches they had that they were competitive with 5 players plus a bot. They've almost won a few of those. Just give them 6 players, and Alabama's Division 1, I think. Potentially. There's a few teams I think they might still lose to Michigan State and maybe another team in D1, or whoever fills out in the D1. But I think that they're going to be really scary going forward. So I'm like thinking Alabama, Roll Tide. I'm on the solution hype train, and I think that Alabama is going to be really good, assuming they gather. That's sadly going to be the biggest question mark for them going forward, but if they can, Alabama, I think, is poised to win a Division II championship. So I'm going to go Iona. Iona hasn't played as often, but you can't count out Franken. You can't count out Goji. Hold up. Iona here. Alabama here. I won't just type that out. Iona's good, and we know Iona came off an almost undefeated season last semester. And I think going forward for them, they might be a bit rusty. And D2 is going to be scary because there's a lot of teams in D2 which are going to be competitive. as heck. And I think that Iona, and they might not be as dominant as they were last season. And I would love to see how they play against like Oklahoma beforehand. But Iona, with their lineup, is still competitive. And I think Iona is going to be one of the biggest teams to look for to see how are they coming off of the D3 championship. Or is there the... Actually, I'm going to think about it. They're the only team left who's still like intact completely from spring season that won a championship. Do we see that like championship hangover come in? Are they gonna kind of stumble out of the gate? We don't know. And I think that's gonna be really interesting. Iona's gonna be a team we're gonna be looking to watch. There's a few other question marks because we don't know other teams of like which teams are gonna be here yet. But a team we do know will be here, and I think a team that's going to be easily, solidly in this spot, UNI. University of Northern Iowa. The Panthers. Lemons, especially, is insanely good. You might book it now. Lemons might win MVP in D2. Like, the improvement in such a short time is crazy. Lemons wasn't even their best player last season. That was Archie. But since then, we're looking at like even time trial wise, Lemons is putting in the work. Lemons is putting in a ton of work in this lounge gathering and everywhere else. We'll do the propaganda for Lemons to be D2 MVP. We'll talk about that next. But I think UNI didn't make playoffs last semester. So they barely got edged out because Nebraska came back in the last week and beat UAH. So I think they're going to be really interesting to watch here. I'm excited to see what they do. But I'm going to go with Northern Iowa here. Now, I'll just order later on. And remember, this is not an official seeding stream, so this is not completely intact, especially because there's a lot of teams that are question marks. But let's go with... I have a couple teams in mind. It's just which one do I want to go with. Nah, it makes sense. Give me UTK, University of Tennessee, Knoxville, in D2. We thought they were going to be D3, and that changed fairly quickly, for being honest. Evolved being here is going to do a lot. UTK might develop into potentially winning this division. Like, if we're being straight up honest, I think UTK could win this division outright. Am I still going to think Alabama might win? Yeah, I think Alabama wins with 6, but I think the Alabama-Tennessee matchup is something you got to watch out for. Alabama-UNI is got to watch out for. Compared to last season, where House Divided was by far the best team in Division 2, I think all these teams in Division 2 are going to be really competitive and close. So I'm really excited for that. And with Evolved on Tennessee, I think UTK is going to be really scary. And now we'll move over to... The question is... There's like 4 teams left, I'm thinking. I don't know about the order. So this might be a bit scuffed, but we're going to go with it. Give me UAH. Give me Morgan State. Give me Nebraska. Give me Siena if they make it. We'll go in order. UAH. We've been underrating UAH for a long time. Like, UAH has gone crazy under the radar. But I think UAH... Oh, frick. So, the thing about Virginia Tech... Here are the teams... Okay, let's talk about it. Here are some teams that could be Division 2 if they play, but we don't know if they're going to be here or not. Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech doesn't have ice. I don't know if they have 6. Let alone do they have the minimum 8. I actually don't know, because Virginia Tech struggled to gather last semester. if we remember that. And that was with Ice. So without Ice, I don't know what the rule is there, because Ice graduated in the fall / winter. So by CKL eligibility, Ice isn't allowed to play in this season. Virginia Tech would be here in D2, I think. For sure. Because especially if Cynical is scary. And then you see players like Steamy and Hyper just popping off. I think Virginia Tech will be D2. We just don't know if they will be here. You could argue the same thing for Moravian. Moravian is fringe D2, top of D3, I think. You have to see how they compete against Morgan without me playing there. Especially because, like, the question is, does the potential recruits for Moravian show up? If they do, Moravian's going to slip in and maybe be top of D3, bottom D2. I would rather see him D3 personally, because I think you want to see development there, but I don't know for sure. These two teams, fringe. We don't know about them yet, so we'll put them here. The same with like Baruch. Otherwise, UAH is great. Creo's insane. Cheese is doing really well. Space hasn't played in a while, but Space is one of their best players. I think UAH, we gotta stop underrating them. They're good. Atherolite as well. Scary team. I'm looking forward to see what they do in the future. Morgan State. Morgan State's LSA. Nitro's getting better. If the rest of the players of Obsidia, Klob, if they get better too, if they're on the come up, Morgan State could be scary. I know Morgan's stock has kind of faltered lately, but I think you could see some good things from this team still. And I'd be really excited to see them go forward. Nebraska, I don't know if Nebraska finished MKU this season. I know they're in it. They're in D21. I have to check if they're like still there, because I know they were on a couple of had gathering issues. Okay, yeah, they probably are out. Okay, D21 as a whole is just forfeit. What the heck is this? I played UAH like 2 days ago, and Creo just took near the bomb. Like I said, UAH is scary. They're so underrated, and I feel really bad because I remember them in like last season in D3. The story was Iona versus Oklahoma. Nebraska is coming back, and then UNI is really good. And then remember, keep in mind, UNI didn't even make playoffs. UAH beat Nebraska. Creo had the highest average in the entire league, and we didn't talk about UAH. That's on me. I take the fault for the UAH not having as much credit as they should have, but they're freaking good. This is a team that I wouldn't be surprised to see them make playoffs. Don't be surprised if they pull off some upsets either. Nebraska's developed nicely. I don't know. Nebraska might be D3 still. I think Nebraska falls if Virginia Tech plays. But if Nebraska has their top lineup, there's some good names there. Lobob's good. Zoo is good. I forget their name. Marco, I want to say it was. Solid. Nebraska as a whole of UNL, right? Yeah, University of Nebraska-Lincoln. This is a team I'm like really interested in. Really want to see them do well. I'm excited to see. I'm really hoping they play CKL. And Siena, I don't know if Siena's going to play, but if they do, would love to see it, because Jinja's great. And if Jinja can bring a team up here, I think it'd be really good for them. But Bob isn't returning to college complications. Okay, so we haven't even got like potential transfers yet. Because like imagine like the storyline of this season. Okay, no super teams in first season. The storyline here. Trey is ineligible due to GPA. LeBob isn't returning to college stuff. It happens, but you never know. If Sienna plays, I think they're fringe D2, top of D3 level. It just depends on like a lot of the results from them going forward. D3 is interesting because I don't know who's D3 is. If you could just say like the rest of them, yes, but I'll go FIU. Florida International University is putting in work. You will see Ted Bear in War Chat looking for scrims, and they're getting destroyed by teams that aren't college teams. But they're gonna be battle tested, and assuming they have 6 for CKL, I could see FIU doing really well. I'm excited to see them going forward. I thought FIU could have been D2 last season, if I'm being honest, because they had Ted Bear, but they also didn't have a lot of experience there. But Milkshake is also really good. I'd love to see FIU show up and show out. New Mexico? They're in Pacific League. I don't think they're doing very well, but that's just a college team in their great overall community issue where we just struggle, but that's how it is. Would love to see them in the future do well, though. And I think University of New Mexico could be really interesting going forward, assuming they play. I don't know. Remember, there's a ton of teams we don't know if they're going to be here or not. Like, I don't know if McDaniel plays. If McDaniel plays, they're here. So I've heard stuff from Sandberg. I have high doubts that McDaniel plays. They don't really have a lot of players now without top 4 boss, Zim, Koban, Shamchez. Yeah, it's like McDaniel lost a lot of players in the no super team role. So I don't know if McDaniel is back or not. But they would be Division 3, I would think. EIU, if they come back, I haven't heard from EIU since last season ended, so I have no idea if they're back or not. Same with CSUF. We don't know anything about their status. But they would be here. If NC State comes, NC State has a fair number of players. I don't know if they're doing CKL or if they're focusing on the ECRC stuff. Because I could see them focusing ECRC just to get the groundwork running, especially because like they're gonna struggle in 6v6, I think, at first. But if they're here, NC State could be here. I don't think PWE gets very high up either. Drexel has a team, but I don't know if they're doing much yet. There's a lot we don't know, and it's a scary thing. There's not a lot to go off of here, and like the teams we covered are here already. D1 and D2 are looking really good. It's just who's filling out the teams. We're probably going to have... I don't know if we're going to have a big rise in teams compared to last season, because there's a lot of question mark teams. All of the teams in this column in general, we don't know. We don't even know about EIU, CSUF. Sienna, oh, let's be honest. Sienna's probably here. We don't know if Sienna's going to come over. But aside from that, I think this is like solid-ish. Going to look at like the rest of the stuff later, but I think this is the gist of the teams as far as I know. Unless there's some other teams I'm missing. Cincinnati. I'm gonna type Sin, because I can't spell Cincinnati to save my life, being honest. Cincinnati's like, what? D3-ish? We don't know anything about them, aside from my coach, who played on redacted team, I'm pretty sure. We'll have a better idea when syllabus week signups end. Syllabus week signups are ending actually kind of soon, which is in a couple weeks, I think, which is really scary because there's a lot of teams that were like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff we just like aren't sure about. 27th. Less than 2 weeks. Oh, yeah. Okay, what's likely going to happen is on February 27th, I'm going to do my seeding stream again. And then maybe we'll see the last second signups. But look, if you look at this, remember, there's only 19 so far. And how many of these teams are here? They're technically not in yet. Italicize every team that isn't here. Did I see Michigan State? I don't think I saw Michigan State. Who's here? Okay. The teams that are for sure here are bolded. Going MUAH. These teams have at least signed up for for CKL spring season, and the teams that are currently eligible will be italicized. And there's only UNI, UAH, shouts to them, Oklahoma, shouts to them, Kutztown. Yeah, shouts to the 4 teams already eligible. There's a lot of teams we don't know about. There's a lot of teams that we're not sure if they're going to return. There's a lot of teams we don't know if they're going to come back. Yeah, come back. A lot of teams we don't know if they're going to debut. We'll put... It'd be nice, but I'm not too sure myself. Okay. I think that's probably going to wrap up for tonight. So, talked a lot about a lot of stuff. ECRC had a lot of recap, went over syllabus week finals, and we have a rough idea of seedings of the current teams for CKL Spring, and a lot of teams we don't know about, which does not help. But I think that's going to wrap up here for tonight, guys. Let's figure out a channel to raid. Okay, I see a channel I'll raid. Raid. But, okay, gotta kick off the raid there. Former teammate of mine. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to Collegiate Karting 101. Gonna be back again with another stream hopefully next week. But yeah, hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys around next time. Thank you guys for watching.